UFC Nashville. Derrick Lewis will land one strike the whole fight and KO TALLISON TEIXEIRA. Gabriel BONFIM will tap out the karate unk Stephen Thompson. Calvin Kattar will knock out Garcia as he rushes in with his chin way up in the air. Morgan CHARRIERE will skill mog Nate Landwehr. VITOR PETRINO will whiff a big overhand, and it will still knock out AUSTEN Lane. Junior TAFA by undeserved KO. TUKOS is a punch magnet. Max GRIFFIN by Curtis being emotional. CHIDI NJOKWANI if Matthews doesn't wrestle. MOURA because Lauren Murphy's terrible. Walter Walker blobs Kennedy NZECHUKWU. The unmotivated Mike Davis will still style on Mitch Ramirez. And FATIMA KLINE will turn Melissa Martinez into mincemeat. All in all, really happy with this card in Nashville, Tennessee. We got some really big names on here, even if they are semi-washed, like Derrick Lewis is 40, Stephen Thompson is 40, even Calvin Kattar's pushing it. We're talking action fighters on this card. Gotta love it. We'll hop right into this main event with the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis, against a newcomer, TALLISON TEIXEIRA. And I mean newcomer. Derrick Lewis has had 30 UFC fights. TALLISON TEIXEIRA has had 1. So, gigantic experience gap here. Average fight time was 1 minute and 16 seconds because he basically just destroyed TAFA in 10 seconds or so with an elbow to the face. Great performance. TALLISON TEIXEIRA is super, super tall, light on his feet, good reach. He's going to make Lewis look like the smaller guy, but it is not going to matter at all. Derrick Lewis, one of the worst volume strikers in UFC history, but that doesn't matter. He rewrites the rules of MMA. You cannot take him down and slow him down. He's too big and powerful, and his horrendous volume also doesn't matter, because he lands one punch and it is over. If you go through his entire UFC career, he has never landed more than 50 strikes. Derrick Lewis, he is a great striker, a great puncher, and I love the anti-grappling. He's so big and strong that it is hard to just, traditionally wrestle him. It doesn't really work, and it makes it for his opponent very taxing to haul him around. We saw Jailton Almeida beat him, yes, but get nothing done with 21 minutes of control time. Yeah, very interesting stuff. So Derrick Lewis, powerhouse. The volume's horrible. The stamina's horrible. But his finishing ability is unquestionable. And he's proven that over and over and over again, that his fitness is irrelevant. That death touch is there. And I just think TALLISON TEIXEIRA, super green coming in here. And has a lot of lessons to learn. And he will turn into a great fighter at one point. I'll even trust that his youth and his corner are massive advantages. But I still don't think that's enough. I think this is just way too early of a test for a main event spot with Derrick Lewis, who's hyper experienced, even if he is kind of fat. Co-main event, very, very interesting. Welterweight veteran unk Stephen Thompson, always a joy to watch. Karate specialist against Gabriel BONFIM, who is just a nightmare to deal with in all aspects. Lots of boxing experience. He's a big, big submission guy. I believe 13 submissions to BONFIM's name. Plenty in the UFC so far, debuting with a Von Flue choke. Crazy rare submission, very impressive to actually pull off. Only dropping a loss to Nicholas Dalby, where he gassed out, just going a bit too buck wild, and Dalby rallied back very effectively. We can see he got takedowns on Dalby, just went a bit too hard, did not pace himself at all. He was undefeated. He has a great, great record, but yeah, somewhat of a fraud check against Dalby, who is good. But yeah, not a great win. He's back on track, beating the shit out of Ange Lusa, and being the first one to just really deal with Chaos Williams with a Darce choke, putting him completely out cold, getting 4 takedowns. So that is a theme here you'll see with Gabriel BONFIM. Not afraid to shoot takedowns. Young guy. I believe he's 25 years old, going against what is it, like 42-year-old Stephen Thompson, who's an excellent duelist, but, you know, a bit too brittle at this point. I mean, if Buckley's taking you down 4 times and then KOing you in the 3rd round, just a horrible look. Yeah. I'm afraid with Stephen Thompson, he was a joy to watch. One of the very first fights I watched was Thompson versus Hendricks, post-USADA Hendricks, and I was just like, oh my god, this guy is like a world beater. But yeah, that was about 10 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, so yeah, Stephen Thompson, a bit too old and brittle now. Gabriel Bonfim, in his athletic prime, super young guy, skilled in the stand-up, skilled in the striking, and the ground as well. Plenty of submissions. We see Von Flue, we see arm triangle, guillotine. He has everything he needs for this. And just coming in, who's going to wrestle and grapple more effectively? It's Bonfim every day. Yeah. Stephen Thompson, aged, super experienced for sure, but durability's never been his thing. And we haven't seen Stephen Thompson just lights out piston counter somebody out cold in a long, long time. Yeah, last loss was that Kevin Holland fight, and Holland was a bit of a bonehead in there. Yeah. And back in 2020, kind of a lopsided win over Jeff Neal, but, you know, Jeff Neal, very boxing heavy, only boxing from Jeff Neal, nothing else, just a pure headhunter. Of course he's going to struggle. It's been a long time since he's had momentum. It's Gabriel Bonfim all the way. Made a video about Calvin Kattar a couple days ago, just kind of detailing his struggles in the UFC. And so he's on a losing streak right now, but excellent boxer, like some of the fastest hands. It's just he's getting up there in age now and on a losing streak. Against Steve Garcia, who is just a menace, just an absolute weight bully freak. Super, super dangerous. Has no fear, just comes forward and brawls. And he is on an incredible string of momentum. Dropped a unanimous decision to Luis Pena way back. Just getting, like, controlled for 14 minutes. So he has, like, not really a ground game, but that's not really an avenue Kattar can take this one. And then got slept out cold by Mahashat, Chinaman. Beautiful KO. Garcia is just coming forward, like, chin way up in the air, and just gets one punch KO'd. And that can happen again. Kattar can absolutely do that again. Chase Hooper goes crazy and decides to brawl with Garcia and not shoot a single takedown. It doesn't go well for him. Malik Wazal Costa is my boy. This crushes me. Costa's super, super technical, but Steve Garcia does just swarm him, just brings out the autism, just gets it done with, you know, damage. Garcia's a great damager. That is where his strengths are for sure. Not so much the technique, but definitely aggression, size, no fear. Just comes forward, uses his athletic gifts. He's trained very well. Jackson Wink team. And, you know, Calvin Kattar, it's tough to say where exactly his training is at. I know he's with Firas Zahabi, actually. So that could be a big level up moment for him, getting very high caliber coaching, but, like, absolutely zero momentum. He needs a bounce back of the ages here against Steve Garcia. And I think he can find it. I'm more confident in him finding it than Garcia, just kind of his only avenue of victory, which is just charge you down screeching and put you away. I just can't envision Kattar going out like that. He'll be composed. That's one thing Garcia has pretty much none of, is composure. Just lots of big, like, world's greatest freak out from Steve Garcia. And yeah, the chin's up in the air. I don't like it. He plays a very, very risky game, and that's one thing you can't do with Kattar. You need to stay disciplined because his hands are wicked fast. And I know the stats kind of just suggest that Kattar's going to get his ass beat, but I just don't see it. We'll see if Garcia grapples. He shouldn't. He was just kind of nullified on the ground by Pena in the past, so excellent fight, though. Probably my fight of the card, just to see where both careers are at. Super interesting. And yeah, because Kattar's been in there with everybody, and Garcia's been in there with, honestly, kind of schmucks. The Chase Hooper win's awesome. I will not discredit that at all, but Hooper, you know, did the wrong things. Just went straight into a firefight and suffered 3 knockdowns and just got beat up. So yeah, we'll see. If Garcia can get it done, great feather in the cap, but I don't see it happening. I see KATTAR with a finish. Another awesome potential barn burner, Nate Landwehr, is back. Nate Landwehr, cardio demon. What he lacks in kind of fundamentals and skill, he makes up for with like crazy grit, crazy drive. He's a big, I believe he ran track, so Nate the Train, cardio off the charts. Enough cardio to break Dagestanis. And Morgan Charriere, this guy's awesome. Big social media presence, the last pirate. He's here to just put on fun fights. Excellent kickboxer. Not much else. Great physicality, great kickboxing. Good strong clinch, but he got kind of figured out by first Chepe Mariscal. Just kind of presented a big cardio problem for him. Fight of the night, split decision, but I do think he lost it. Could have won on damage. This fight's super interesting. I feel like people wouldn't have hated if the nod went to Charriere, but definitely a good lesson he needed to learn. Because Mariscal is a cardio demon, and really utilize that against Charriere, who is big and muscular. So gassing out could be a problem. He's more of a round 1 and 2 looking to finish you guy, line up a big shot, take you out. Starches Gabriel Miranda in a bounce back, and then gets Nathaniel Wood. And it doesn't go great. He gets knocked down. Big speed advantage for Nathaniel Wood. 30-27s across the board. So against a pure striker. And he had him shooting some takedowns because he couldn't figure out Wood on the feet in time. Not the greatest look. And yeah, Wood doing great leg kick work. His legs are wicked fast. And yeah, big speed advantage for Wood. Didn't masterclass Charriere, but yeah, kind of beat him at his own game, which you don't like to see. And now he draws Nate Landwehr, who is nowhere near the striker of Nathaniel Wood. But Nate Landwehr has gifts, for sure. Both veterans, both average about the same fight time, similar build. Yeah, in a striking fight, it's Charriere all day, but Nate Landwehr is going to come in and make it dirty, but I still think Morgan Charriere can come in and get it done. I just really, really hope he doesn't burn out his gas tank, because if he does that, Nate the Train will take over. He'll run him over, but Charriere goes for finishes early, and I think that's what you need to do against Landwehr. Dan Ige, I believe, dropped Nate Landwehr round 1. You can hurt Nate Landwehr. People have done it in the past. I think it was right at the end of the first round where, yeah, Dan Ige put Nate Landwehr on the brink of death, but he did recover. And that's one thing you got to give Landwehr, is the ability to recover and bounce back. Destroyed by Doo Ho Choi, though. Absolutely fucking destroyed in both areas. Striking, takedowns. Doo Ho Choi super slept on. But not a bad UFC record by any means. And the volume's pretty impressive. He will absolutely put up numbers and run away with fights. Vitor Petrino, Austen Lane. Yeah, Vitor Petrino made a big error in his last fight. Both of his fights, honestly. And this is a tough test, Jacoby. The Smith loss is just embarrassing. I don't know how he let that happen. But yeah, Petrino, big Hulk, kind of does whatever. Lots of powerful grappling. Yeah, but like low volume. It is light heavyweight, low volume, super dangerous guy, super great. Like, he's a good athlete, can kind of buck and scramble his way to any advantageous position. Young guy. And Austen Lane is damaged goods, which is why it's going to be probably a round 1 KO for Petrino. If he just understands the assignment. Austen Lane, former football player, scrambled egg brain. Like, even before all of his knockout losses in the UFC. CNC. Like, lost to Greg Hardy by KO. KO, KO1, KO1, KO2, KO2. The Mario Pinto one was awful. And he got off to a good start, but Mario Pinto realizes all I have to do is touch this guy's chin, it's over. So Lane, phenomenal athlete, but it's huge durability problem. It's Petrino all the way. Even if they go back and forth, you can bank on Petrino to just not fall apart with one punch. I mean, he did against Jacoby, but like they had a good little exchange for 3 rounds. Austin Lane would never. And yeah, like I said, Austin Lane, some physical gifts like the height, the reach, decent wrestling, and honestly decent cardio. I think Austin Lane can probably push a bit harder than some heavyweights without gassing. VITOR PETRINO, yeah. Yes, he was starched in his last fight, so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Lane's chin is one of the worst in the UFC. I mean, it is heavyweight, but PETRINO can absolutely get it done. Absolutely. This is a move up in weight for him as well. So look for him to come in, make a statement, and just send Austin Lane to the dark place forever. Junior TAFA, TUKO, TOKKOS, bottom feeders. Junior TAFA, big, emotional, mental midget. Basically just one-dimensional striker, big fat Samoan. And TOKKOS, just punch magnet. Tried to go to war with the great Ming Yang Zhang. Like, what are you doing? Like, we have fight IQ problems here with TOKKOS. We have durability problems, physicality problems. Yeah, you cannot trust it. 0-3, like, why is he not cut? This is a guy they bring in to lose to people. And they want TAFAs in the UFC. They want big fat fuck Mark Hunts in the UFC. So that's why he's here. And Junior TAFA, checkered career as well, not great. Only beating the people that they bring into the UFC to lose specifically. Like Parker Porter, long and dusted, gone. Sean, whoever, long and gone. And anyone half decent who he has fought, he's lost to. Won by each method. Unanimous decision lost Mo Usman. Leg kicks, I believe, from De Lima. Horrible look. And then screaming out in pain from a heel hook gets referee stoppage against Walter Walker. And then he's just a huge, like, soy boy loser, just sore loser at the end, just like trashing Walter Walker, slaps him. Like, okay, yes, you didn't tap, but like, don't scream out like a little girl. Like, yeah, it's interesting. So super emotional guy. You can't trust these people in elite level MMA. So, but Junior TAFA, puncher's chance. TOKKOS will probably come out and try and brawl with him, which is the one thing you shouldn't do. You're giving them, like, the TAFAs, these Samoan guys, the only chance they have is if you brawl with them and just exchange like a retard, and TUKOS might. So we got to steer clear of that completely and just understand that this is a guy brought in to lose to people. Do not bank on the 0-3 person in the UFC ever, even if Junior TAFA is quite fraudulent. Interesting fight here. Griffin Curtis. Chris Curtis moving down to 170 at like near 40 years of age. We'll see where the durability is. He's a guy that loves to take punches. He loves to eat shots, loves to roll with shots, just has a pleasure in the pocket. And Max Griffin, not the biggest like power puncher by any means, but like respectable volume, big time veteran of welterweight. Kind of checkered career. Debut loss to Covington. One of Covington's only KO finishes. Big red flag, but decent win against Mike Perry. Shows he's not a dumbass and does the right thing. Schools Perry with volume. Stays mobile. Loses to some prospects along the way. Morono loss, red flag. Yeah. But as for Max Payne Griffin, been around a very long time. Much like Curtis, like this will be a big veteran fight. But what I like out of Griffin is, for one, his height. He'll be taller and longer than Curtis at his natural weight class. And he's had his feet set in the division. We haven't seen Chris Curtis bank a single welterweight win. It's been all middleweight, where maybe he's been able to appear a lot better than he really is. If we're talking entertainment value, Chris Curtis is one of the most entertaining, like pound for pound entertaining fighters out there. It's a lot of power shots, boxing, brawling, good stuff. But when we're talking like elite level MMA, lots of holes in his game. He's emotional. He only punches, like ineffective kicks, just complete lack of a leg kicking system, teeps, all this kind of stuff. Refuses to switch out of southpaw. He's a southpaw. I don't know why this is here. And yeah, kind of got fucked over in his last fight with Roman Kopylov. Like, beat Kopylov in a war. But at the end of the day, like, you're taking too much damage. Like, it's unreal. He is durable, but like that doesn't mean you should just walk into punishment for 15 minutes. Something is bound to sneak through. And so yeah, Now he cuts down to the welterweight weight class where he used to fight like way back, I guess when he's in his prime, you could say. But now it's too late. Now is absolutely too late. You're almost 40. You're coming off of, getting wobbled with a head kick and dropped, and you're moving down in weight at an older age. So the durability is questionable. And like I said, he's a guy that loves to take shots and roll with punches. He will always fight that way. Max Griffin, a bit more of a generalist, will play proper MMA. He will clinch. He will take down at the right times. I don't believe he has as much as an ego as Chris Curtis or the same personality. Land rate goes to Curtis, very active puncher. Is willing to get into the pocket and just see who is the better striker at the end of the day. But I'd like for Max to really blend in effective takedown work. But yeah, like if Curtis doesn't get his way, his whole game falls apart. Like all you have to do is circle. You circle away from Chris Curtis, you've just found the blueprint, basically. So hope Max Griffin does his homework and doesn't get sucked into a firefight, because that's Chris Curtis's best method. So we'll see what happens. They're similar in age. It should be actually a really fun fight, but I am not going to pick Chris Curtis to win a fight moving down to welterweight. We haven't seen him beat a UFC level welterweight yet, only middleweights. And Max Griffin, not a world beater by any means, but I trust it. I trust him, and I don't trust Curtis right now. Jake Matthews, Chidi, and NJOKWANI. Also good fun fight with veterans. 36 fights for Chidi, 28 for Matthews. Matthews a young veteran as well. Chidi's kind of been all over. Good fight. Hope Matthews wrestles, because he didn't wrestle at all against Michael Morales, or maybe he tried to and just it wasn't happening. But tried to outstrike Michael Morales. Didn't go well, but still went to the scorecards, and 2 judges thought he won a round. And Michael Morales is dangerous, big and deadly. Jake Matthews didn't back down and engaged in striking the whole time. And, it was competitive for sure. And we just saw Michael Morales steamroll Gilbert Burns. Maybe Gilbert Burns is washed, but still. So a good loss from Jake Matthews. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. 3 out of 1 of the last 4. And I rate this loss because Michael Morales is a killer. Phil Rowe just got an excellent looking W. Jake Matthews doubles him in volume, does his thing, lands a takedown. And Prado. Closer fight with Prado. They really gave 30-27s, but Prado was kind of game the whole fight, just undersized and had no success with wrestling. Yeah, interesting stuff. Jake Matthews is always evolving. That's one thing you can bank on, is every now and then he will stumble, but then gets back in the gym, gets right back on track, puts a little run together, and then kind of hits that level, puts a run together, hits that level. So interesting stuff. I rate Matthews a lot. Chidi and NJOKWANI is an older guy, but lethal striking, super fast, super light. He's skinny, long, and tall, and his striking is just nasty, absolutely nasty. He ran into some tough matchups, big physicality problem with Gregory Rodriguez, who just dwarfed him, made him look tiny, and his damage wasn't enough. He split Rodriguez's face open badly, but still broke to pressure. Goofy tit-for-tat fight with a wrestler, Duraev, that looked way too competitive, and broke against Oleksiejczuk's pressure, which is never good. So we'll see what happens. This is a coin toss for me. Truly a coin toss. Let's pull up the side-by-side. Chidi is quite a bit taller, so we'll see. I'd love Matthews to get it to the ground in this one. Not saying he has to, but when you're operating from a 7-inch reach deficit, you might as well give it a shot. The takedown rate's okay. I hope he gets really after it in this fight, because the longer you try and feel out your stand-up with Chidi, you're giving him reads. That's exactly what he wants, is pure striking to go down. And Jake Matthews, it's interesting. Matthews' boxing combinations are clean, but he's never been like a one-shot, like start you kind of guy. He's very much like a nice, light volume striker, but his shots add up. Like, let's see how many, like, the Fialio KO, beautiful, but that might be his only one in the whole UFC. And then back in 2015, he has one. So, like, on the feet, the danger isn't really there for Matthews, so I hope he recognizes he's kind of out of his depth in a striking fight here, and brings out kind of the more underrated side of his game and goes for takedowns, grappling, because Chidi has been broken before like that. You know, getting manhandled, peppered on the ground, that's how you get ahead of Chidi NJOKWANI and take the fight out of his world. So I'll take Matthews, but he needs to wrestle. He absolutely needs to wrestle, or he's going to get highlighted. Lauren Murphy's back for no reason. Thought she, like, retired or was cut. She looks very, very old. She is very, very old. She had, like, an okay stint to get her Valentina Shevchenko, but then we just see the levels. We see the levels. Just lands nothing against Shevchenko and just gets completely embarrassed. Yeah, when we see this much of a discrepancy in the stats, you've been shown that you're, like, years and years behind. And last time we saw her, she just got completely just ran through by Jessica Andrade. This shouldn't ever be happening. 231 strikes from Jessica Andrade, who's like a power merchant, just a slugger. Not even like an accurate by-the-numbers puncher. Fails 15 takedowns, just getting ripped apart on the feet. Somehow makes it to a decision. 30-26, 30-25, 30-25. You can't trust her coming back. Even against Eduardo MOURA, who is kind of a takedown merchant. You know, I remember she was massively outstruck by Veronica Hardy. Yeah, like, just doesn't get anything done, really, in this fight against Hardy. No knockdowns. I guess they just sided with her power. But gets completely volumed up by Hardy. Lands her takedowns, I guess, and gets control time, and she wins off that. But, like, yeah, it's interesting. So she's not even really coming off a win that I rate. And our girl, D. Gomes. Who doesn't love Denise Gomes? Just running through everybody, fucking up everybody. The female Gilbert Burns. Big power thrower. 5'2", little shorty, just like shotguns for hands. Just destroys Bruno Brazil, destroys Uruguay, just killing these prospects. And yeah, had no success against Denise Gomes. Big problem with the striking. Shot for 26 takedowns. Just doesn't want any part of the feet. She also just doesn't look comfortable on the feet, so I'm done breaking down this fight. Lauren Murphy's terrible, but Eduardo MOURA, I think, is at least young. I think she's at least young in comparison. So go on, get it done. Don't completely embarrass your career. This fight should be higher up. I like this fight. I think both guys have good careers ahead of them, and they've already had pretty good careers. Kennedy and NZECHUKWU I rate. He's very unique. He's very fun. You won't see another fighter who really fights like him. 83-inch reach, 6'5", coached by Safe Sood, big Fortis guy. I don't know if he's still there, but that's where the majority of his training was, I believe. So yeah, like, good volume boxer. Super hard to deal with frame, southpaw. This land rate is kind of unheard of at heavyweight. The problem is the durability, though. He's kind of run into these weird problems where he's been doing well, and then all of a sudden his career just gets derailed with a goofy-looking finish. Like, Da Woon Jung elbows him while he's closed guard, where he has, like, a high guard, and just the force of the elbow KOs him, not even, like, a landed strike. Robbery against Nugumurano, doesn't matter. He's back on track, and then Dustin Jacoby. We can forgive this. Jacoby's technical elite on the feet. Instantly KOs him, and then drops a decision to the beyond washed OSP, where he, like, how are you letting OSP hit you 143 times? It just doesn't make any sense. This horrible loss prompts the move to heavyweight, and he, you know, is off to the races. He's crushed 2 cans, but now it's Walter Walker, the brother of Johnny Walker, the clean monster. Yeah, Walter Walker's big, ugly, goes for plenty of takedowns. Great BJJ. 2 heel hooks. I love that. Heel hook in heavyweights. It's the oldest trick in the book. They can't escape. They're fat as hell. We'll see how it goes. I mean, he lost to Brzeski, who Kennedy beat handily. So I don't know what's up, but got his takedowns off, still didn't win. Had a shitty gas out performance, but you got to trust in the Walker name. The Walker name is beautiful stuff. Yes, they stumble. Yes, they look like cavemen. But what I'm seeing here is elite tier BJJ, where Kennedy, all he really does is box. And the volume's good, and he will ramp it up and seek a TKO, but at heavyweight, that's going to be tougher to do. You got to really gas someone out with something and then kind of ramp it up. And I think Valter Walker is a bit too much of an animal. And Kennedy comes in not even close to the heavyweight limit, so there's a chance Valter Walker just bulldozes him to the ground, makes up for this reach disadvantage. He's actually younger. That's impossible. He looks very old. Horrible land rate. This is the problem with Valter Walker. He's not really a great striker, but we'll see what happens. I like Kennedy. I want his career to go far. He fights for a good cause. I believe his mom has ALS. Heart of gold. But I like Valter Walker too. And it's nice to see siblings in the UFC. Like, it just shows that, like, they train together. They can help each other out with MMA on the pro scene. Love to see it. Mike Davis. I have a bone to pick with Mike Davis. Beast boy Mike Davis. This guy's just a goof. Like, he is so technical. Power in every shot. Beautiful kickboxing. Like, if you want to see good MMA Muay Thai work, you look up some Mike Davis highlights. But what is this activity? Like, what is your career? Like, the most activity he's ever done is fighting once a year. And these days, it's like once every 2 years. Not really making a whole ton of sense from Mike Davis. He said he doesn't like fighting. He likes, streaming on Kick or Twitch or whatever. So, the biggest red flag in the world, like, so Mike Davis, pure talent. But we can't trust a lot of things about him. Had a fun fight with Fares Ziam. Fares Ziam is improving very fast. And 30-27 to Mike Davis. Nobody saw this kind of a sweep coming. A big takedown fight from these two. Yeah, interesting. Because Mike Davis, I rate him a pure striker, but yeah, he should not be shooting in his fights. He should be doing what got him here and striking. And so if his confidence starts to slip in that domain, he isn't much. But Mitch Ramirez is a can, doesn't have a win in the UFC yet. He got starched by Prates and then moved down to lightweight and got given Moises and got beat by leg kicks. Yeah, I don't know much about Ramirez, but no matter what he brings in, it probably won't be enough for Mike Davis. Like I said, Davis ultra talented. It's just the heart's a question. So you need to be like I'm willing to die for this, and you can beat Mike Davis because he doesn't really like adversity. I don't think his heart's like really in the game. Let's see the physical stats. It's neck and neck with everything. It's kind of a coin flip fight. Mike Davis, get your shit together. Get motivated about MMA. Get off Twitch, Kick, whatever you're doing. Be a warrior. Because you have the skills to do it. You've had a great career. But we need motivation from Mike Davis. Somebody send him some stoic edits or something. Or some like motivational reels. Get his head back in the game. And so this might be his career strategy here. It's let me just fight, low levels the whole time and collect checks. Because he clearly doesn't care about rankings or progressing to a title. And that's just a big red flag. So I don't trust any performance of his. Lost to Sadiq Youssef, lost to Gilbert Burns, I guess near prime, but still. Davis, watch the highlights, but don't really care for the guy. But the highlights are incredible. He's from Tiger Muay Thai, so absolutely phenomenal striker. But if you look deeper beneath that, there's not a lot to really trust at the UFC level. And lastly, Fatima Kline, Melissa Martinez. Fatima Kline is cool. She's a cool gal. She trains with Erin Blanchfield. but she's a lot more of a damager than Blanchfield is. I don't like Erin Blanchfield. She never really gets anything done and like doesn't do enough to entertain me as a fan. Kline has. Kline's gone to war with Jasuda Vicious and had a good showing for herself. She's down to actually scrap. And then against Dudakova, she took her down and just like rained hell. Like she showed that she has like that nasty bit in her game, which I love to see out of female fighters. Have that nasty edge to your game. Like chicks that can pull off damage in the cage are awesome. And she did that against Dudakova. Cracked her head open with elbows and stuff like that. And this is a step down. This is absolutely a step down. She'll be a gigantic favorite. Yeah. Melissa Martinez, I don't even know like what to speak on really. Good volume striker. She's tiny, small, short, stubby, like not a good reach. The volume is good though. She'll go to like, she wants to kind of brawl and have like a fun fight, but Fatima Kline is like way more of a thinker than that. She's going to take the easiest path to victory, damage the fuck out of you or sub you. That's kind of what she's headed for. She's very young. She comes from a good camp, so Kline all the way. That is the card. Back to the top, we have Derrick Lewis. High confidence in knocking out TEIXEIRA just because no one's felt Lewis's power until they're in there with him. Even if he is like a low-volume blob, he'll get it done. I rate BONFIM. KATTAR's going to bounce back big. Yeah, keep an eye on this card. No one's talking about it yet, so we'll get this video out now. And yeah, interesting stuff. Let me know the matchups on here you're looking forward to, because there's actually a lot. Whether you're a new fan, old fan, there's something on here for everybody. And please, Calvin Kattar, win, man. Oh, like there's a few on here that I really care about. I like Morgan Charrier. He's a prospect I want to see go far. I don't want him to just be like a win one, lose one. He's very fun. Calvin Kattar 4-fight loss streak. Please don't. It would be the worst end in the world to go out losing at the hands of Steve Garcia, just a mutant. Thompson's kind of done. I'm kind of over Thompson. His glory days are over. There's plenty of... He left a great legacy. BONFIM's a killer. I want to see BONFIM succeed. Derrick Lewis is the man. Never retire, Derrick Lewis. Good stuff. Yeah, that's the card. Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.